We do know it's mainly for Professor Frith, who thankfully accepted our invitation to share her knowledge with us today. But before we go ahead and talk about this great woman and their success in the world of academia, I would like to just introduce our society really quickly. So, my name is Andrea. I'm the president of the NeuroSoc, UCL NeuroSoc for this year. And along with the committee, who are doing an amazing, fantastic job, we have organized numerous events throughout the year, and this being our first one. Next month we already have our first research talk, which will include 2 short research talks, 1 career talk from actually one of the editors of Nature, and a student talk. And this will happen monthly. But we also have other big events coming up. For example, Andrea Marsh will be coming in to talk about his book, Do No Harm. We have a big drug policy debate, a panel on PTSD, research talks about neurolinguistics and neuropsychiatry. So we're really excited. We have a lot of things coming up. And we even have an art competition with the title of The Brain and Mental Health, where all the money that we're going to raise is going to go to a charity that supports research in psychiatric disorders. Of course, we're a very academic-driven society. However, we do believe that it's really important to get to know like-minded people, not only to network for the future, but also to build upon ideas, like each other's ideas, but also to create a strong community. So after this, please do join us to have some drinks in the South Coasters. And we'll also have other events coming in the next few weeks. But please don't hesitate to approach any of the committee members if you want to get involved. And hopefully we'll get to know each other better throughout the year. But now enough about the society. We're all here for Professor Frith. So let me introduce her really quickly. Professor Frith has made major contributions to our understanding of developmental disorders, especially on autism and dyslexia. She started in Germany, where she completed her undergraduate degree in experimental psychology, to then be trained in clinical psychology at the Institute of Psychiatry at King's College London. And then she completed her PhD on the topic of pattern detection in normal and autistic children. Professor Frith introduced an approach that combines experimental, neuropsychological, and neuroscientific methods to study neurodevelopmental disorders. She always encouraged psychologists to work in a theoretical framework that distinguishes between observed behavior and the underlying cognitive and neurobiological processes that underlie this behavior. Her talent for devising simple, child-friendly experiments that cut to the heart of a question remains unsurpassed. And indeed, she has contributed to some of the major theories of autism and have succeeded in explaining the core features of this condition. Professor Frith also contributed in the experimental study of dyslexia, and she has elucidated the cognitive difficulties that appear to be universal in the specific disorder. On the 1st of April 2014, then, she was featured in the documentary Living with Autism as part of the BBC Autism series. And in fact, today we're going to be showing this documentary. It's going to be 1 hour long. And after this documentary, we will have 30 minutes, 40 minutes of question and answer. So hopefully I'll leave you back to Professor Frith.
Thank you very much. We'll see if I need it. I don't know.
It's not very good, so sometimes it is.
Yeah? Is that okay? So I'm really very impressed that you're not at a bar at this moment. Later, very soon. So about a year ago, the BBC approached me and said, well, would I be interested in making a documentary about autism? And my immediate response was, no way, no way. I mean, why me? You should get somebody young to present this. You should get maybe a professional presenter. But then I realized that actually I had a chance to write a script, to tell them what to put in it and what to leave out even better. So I was quite easily won over. And I must say it was an extremely interesting experience in science communication. So I hope that afterwards we can actually also discuss something about how the message may or may not have got across that I wanted to give. So my intention was to really sum up and communicate what my research had shown about autism, which I've tried for years and years and never succeeded. Now, of course, I may not have succeeded now either. But it was a new chance, it was a new way, and I was with professional filmmakers who knew how to maybe get an audience to actually watch something and listen to something as opposed to, well, eyes glazing over and not wanting to read the sort of thing that I might have written. So it was a very interesting kind of teamwork where I learned maybe how to be a presenter. I had absolutely no prior experience. I think you will notice this. Maybe that's, you know, that's quite nice. And I have to say that I had a few must include messages that I wanted to show. One was that there had to be the whole range of autism, not just those incredibly clever people that we always hear about, you know, the savants, the temple grandins of this world, but also some of the others who are often quite invisible. And the other thing I wanted to include is as a range of ages, because people often come with this idea that we're talking about little children. But, as you all know, children become adults. There are many more adults in the world than there are children, and there are many more autistic adults in the world than there are autistic children. So this was included. This is what I wanted to do. And I have to say, I hope the film speaks for itself, conveys some messages. And what I really, really hope is that it actually does away with some misinformation. So you are sort of a test audience, because I'm really hoping that you might have some beliefs quite destroyed that you might bring to this, because, you know, it's a very, it's part of our culture to talk about autism and to know what it is. And I think in a very stereotypic way that's not actually very scientific. And maybe even learn something new, which would be wonderful. But I think